All right, today we have Steve Kelly, who's the CEO of One Earth Energy. And this is a pretty exciting one because you guys are a bigger company and something that I'd like to learn about as well. But before we jump into One Earth Energy, what is your background? How did you end up getting into this industry?
Okay, sure. Valid question there. First of all, I would say that I graduated from Illinois State University,
Nice.
and I spent several years I graduated in 1978, and I entered the ethanol business in 2007. So between that period of time, I worked for a lot of cooperatives in downstate Illinois. And, just grain origination and conditioning and marketing with farmers and doing those kind of things. And then, the wave of ethanol came along, and it was developing west to moving to the east, and wanted to be a part of that. And that's how we put together about five cooperatives to put some seed money together and develop the ethanol plant. And we did that, and so we started production in 2009, and still running in our 16th year right now.
Nice. So before Illinois State, where are you originally from?
Antioch, Illinois. I was born in Evanston. Then we moved to Antioch when I was about 7 years old, and lived in a rural community on a dairy area there, and got used to working around the farm 7 days a week. And that was kind of my background growing up. And went to high school for 4 years, junior college for two, and then finished my bachelor's degree here at ISU in Bloomington-Normal,
And what was the degree in?
agribusiness.
Agribusiness. That all lines up.
So yeah, exactly.
So what's a unique personal fact about yourself?
I think growing up and having a work ethic of working 7 days a week on a farm is probably what got me to where I am today. Just ambitious, no knows no ceiling on anything, and look forward to tomorrow every day.
It's awesome, and it's funny because I hear people, well, my wife especially, she romanticizes about having her own farm, and I'm like, I don't know if you realize the amount of work. There's not like a day off that would go into having your own farm.
Oh, no, especially if you have livestock, and
Yeah,
so when we go to recruit for employment, I mean that's a key area that we look at. We like to see these young ladies and men that grew up in the 4-H and had that responsibility. It's a good teacher in life.
yeah, that definitely tracks. And so your role right now, you're CEO of the company. Did you come in that way? Did you work your way up? Like how did you get to become CEO?
Well, when I worked for the cooperatives, and then we joined with four others to, like I said, we raised about $1.2 million to go out and generate the equity to build this object. It just became to me that after about 6 months of working on that pretty hard, is like, we're going to need a CEO. And so we sat down with the majority owner and the banker who was financing it, and they're the two key people with money in the game, and had that conversation, and they said they'd appreciate having me. So, yes, I got an opportunity to oversee all the construction. It took about 17 months, and then to the startup of the plant as well. Then, so I've been here since '07.
And let's talk a little bit just about One Earth Energy. Like, what is your product? What's your process? Where are you guys located? All that fun stuff.
Sure. So, One Earth Energy is what they refer to as a dry grind ethanol plant. So, we take in dry corn, we run it through a hammer mill, and we convert that flour to sugars, and those sugars to alcohol. And then out of every bushel of corn, you get about 13 and a half pounds of dry distiller grains and about a pound of corn oil. And the balance is about 3 gallons of ethanol in that process. So that's what we do, and do it as best we can.
Nice. And so where are your customers at? Or where are you shipping this to afterwards?
So we're located on the Norfolk Southern Railroad here
Oh,
in central Illinois.
nice.
So anything that goes out on rail, we're going to the East Coast. So Roanoke could be a good example. And then if we're going in the South market, we're going into Florida or the South Carolina. The truck markets for us around here are going to be Chicago. Any small retailer around in the area that wants to buy blended fuel, we do offer tank loads of blended fuel. And then, of course, there's a major terminal there in Champaign, Illinois, that we feed ethanol to.
And how many people do you employ over there now?
We got a total of about 57 full-time employees today.
Very cool. Yeah, and that's one where we would consider what you guys are doing a base employer in economic development. And that's where you're probably paying a little bit more. It's more of a highly skilled position than some of the retail or restaurants that are around there. But there's a big ripple effect from those 50 plus employees because you guys eat, you guys spend your paychecks hopefully locally as
definitely,
well. Big
sure.
ripple effect. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then, we always have contractors here where, through repairs and maintenance and then it takes we consume about what 48 million bushels of corn. So trucks going in and out of here, fuel. I'm sure those people stop and eat once in a while in town as well. So yeah, it has a huge ripple effect. Yep.
Yeah, I'd be curious to run. We do implant models a lot to show like what the impact of a company is, because a lot of times, like even here recently with the Rivian project, when that came around, there was no model that would say like there wasn't enough housing here, so a lot of the contractors had to stay in the hotel, and so that's the
Oh,
hotel
true.
impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you said, if there's truckers coming in and out, then you're collecting some of those tax dollars that are associated with the motor fuel tax.
Yeah, currently, if you look in our town, we just have a small hotel here. It's booked solid right now, and there's a campground south of town. That's what contractors just drag their campers to town and look for
Yeah.
stuff, right? It's a good way to capture some of their per diem that they're allowed to be here, and put a little cash in their pocket.
Well, yeah, I've got a grew up with a farming family as well. Both my uncles and actually my wife uncle as well are farmers, so we know the impact of agriculture, especially here in Central Illinois. We always brag about having the best dirt on the planet. So besides, having corn to eat and everything else, it's nice to see that it's putting into production this way as well.
Absolutely. Being a part of a value added product like this is kind of exciting to be quite honest about it. So yeah.
Is there, so I got to ask, is there, my uncles that are farmers always get nervous and they know everything about the weather. Does that like translate to you as well, as far as like when that product is coming in and out? Are you monitoring weather as well?
Well, the big impact for us on weather is, what size is the crop that we have to
Yield.
pay for out here. I mean, when you run a plant like this, there's three major items that you look at. And it's the cost of corn. That's about 80% of your running your business. Okay. The second one is the cost of natural gas. And then third one is just your maintenance and your personnel expenses. So managing those top two with risk management are critical to that. And then, of course, as weather plays a big impact on the size of that crop.
For sure.
So, I don't know how long you've been around here, Patrick, but the worst crop we've had here since we've been in operation was 2000. We actually had to source corn out of Nebraska to keep the plant running. Yeah.
Okay. But besides, yeah, like the corn's obviously, that's what's coming in supply wise. But for us in economic development, one of the scarcest resource is talent. And you mentioned earlier,
Oh, yeah.
getting your talent from the local rural communities because they've got that great work ethic. If somebody was interested in working for you, are there any programs that are out there that can help them getting ready outside of high school or 4-H, or do you guys train them on site? Like, if somebody, what's an ideal candidate? How should they prepare to come work for you?
Well, this industry is very good about just training on site. We like to bring people in that don't know a whole lot about, the plant and we can educate them. And that's honestly, that's how we started the majority of the people that work here today. I mean, they didn't know very little about it. I would say technically though, if you were looking for a career in biofuels, then obviously, ISU has a biofuels program. We cater a lot of tours from ISU and also Champaign-Urbana as well. So, but yeah, the biofuels industry I think is very dynamic and very interesting for young people coming out of college today.
Yeah, and for us in economic development outside of talent, energy is like the number one thing. And so we don't
Sure.
see, fuel going anywhere. So it's something that's
No,
gonna
no,
be around.
no.
We always joked. I originally started in Decatur doing economic development, and their major employer down there is Archer Daniels Midland. And with them, it's like we always joke, well, everyone's always gonna eat, because before
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
that's something that's not going to go out of style, and fuel's not either. So I would say that there's a bright, sustainable future. If anybody that is looking for a career in biofuels, that'd be a great place to start for them. Like, I guess best place to go if you're looking for more information would be oneearthenergy.com.
Yeah, we've got a website out there and certainly they can enroll or fill out an application anytime. You betcha.
Very cool. All right. So, like, if you were like looking for the ideal day and you've got somebody interested, in Central Illinois, where are you taking them around Central Illinois? I noticed the U of I jacket on. Like, how are you showcasing them to get somebody to want to live, work, and play?
Well, first we showcase them by bringing them to the plant, right, and introducing them to the staff that they would be working around or the employees that they would be participating with in the company, and just giving them, a good discussion on the history of the company, what we expect, where we are today, and where we want to go in the future, and then we like to tour the plant so that they get a good understanding of what it would be like to work here. And then if they show a sign and they're interested, then we're going to take them to the local community. So we kind of brag on Gibson City. We think it's got a great school system here. It's got a great hospital here. We're one of the few towns in central Illinois that can still say that we have a hospital facility in it. So, and then if not, then we reach out and we say, hey, we got Bloomington-Normal, we got Champaign-Urbana, we got Mahomet. I mean, it's there's a lot of communities around us for people to go and live and commute to. Then,
Yeah, it's one of the things we work closely with Mayor Dan Dickey, especially because you guys are partners with our enterprise zone that's over here.
sure, yeah,
And just knowing that it's still affordable, that it's affordable to live there, that
right,
cost of
yep,
living. And that's something that I mentioned that I was down in Decatur for a while doing the same thing. I moved up to Cook County in Chicago and noticed a difference in the cost of living. And one of the reasons
oh sure,
we came
yeah,
back down here was,
yeah,
economic
yeah,
development. It's really turning into workforce development. So having ISU and Wesleyan and U of I, there's such a concentration of future workers that are here, and it's more affordable. Since moving down here in 2019, our cost of living has gone up quite a bit. And I know Gibson Cities has as well, but nowhere near like ours. So it is still a place that young professionals would be a great place to start a family,
yes, yes.
and good
And we
restaurants over
and
there.
I shouldn't leave out. I mean, come on, we've got a lot of churches here in this community as well. So yep. And we used to be known for the German restaurant here in town. It's under different ownership and a little bit different today. But if you're from Central Illinois, a lot of vendors that we do business with always say, "Well, we're going to that German restaurant here." So I mean, that was that was a mainstay for outsiders.
So yeah, if you're somebody's coming into town, you're saying like you got to go to this one place and eat that one thing. What are you telling them you have to have while you're here?
It's called the horseradish now in town. That's what
Oh,
we
okay.
call 'em. Yep,
Yep.
yep, yep.
Very nice. And you guys also have, I was talking to Mayor Dickey about this, you had some big name acts for some of the festivals recently. And I think you got another one coming up pretty soon. But I was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
shocked
Yes.
for
Yeah,
Gibson
we've had
City.
some pretty good bands in town that
Yeah,
have drawn people, and yes, yes, people are enjoying that opportunity. So it's great to get people in your town and let them see what you got. And I think we're proud of our downtown. They spent some money fixing it up with sidewalks and light poles and music downtown. And yeah, it's a very respectable community to be in. We're proud of it.
I agree. And it's one where I remember post pandemic, some of the concerns about being in some of the higher density areas, besides the traffic, we always complained about the traffic, was getting out into more space, more down to earth, more rural type living. And I think that's something that Central Illinois really offers. So anybody that's out there
Definitely.
that's looking for
Yeah.
a good job, good industry, sustainable, and a community that is affordable, we've got them in Central Illinois. So I think that's a
Agree.
major
Yep.
part of it.
Yep.
And then, yeah, the final question we always ask, because I know that you've mentioned that they've invested in the downtown there in Gibson City, which is economic development. But we always ask, like, why economic development or developing your community matters.
Come on, everybody's got a little bit of you want a good legacy for what you do in life, and we're really proud that number one that we could bring, when you drive in from the west and you see that there's been a soybean processing plant in town since the 1950s that's still here today. You've got Cargill as a grain terminal, you got Alliance Grain as a grain terminal. Now you've got an ethanol plant that's taking in corn, and people look around and go, "Where's all this corn come from?" Well, we are blessed with that dirt that you referred to in central Illinois. You're producing 300 bushel corn out of here last year on a norm, and we need a place for that, right? We need a place for these soybeans that are producing between 60 and 90 bushel an acre anymore. I mean, that number's doubled in my career here in Gibson City. And I would say that on a per acre basis, the corn bushels has gone up 100 bushels an acre since I've come here. So it's great to have industry located here close by where the farmers can benefit from that. They don't have a lot of costs of transportation to get to an end user and get paid a high value for the commodity that they're raising. So, and it all feeds back to then the value of the land and their net income and all that goes with that. That's the economic development of the unique situation there.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, you guys got a great story. It's unique being out there in Gibson City, which is also on the rise. Good having neighbors. We always say in economic development that we market regionally and then we sell locally. And so the workforce that we get, I know
Sure.
that people that live in Gibson City work over here in Bloomington, vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
We the
Yep.
strength is our labor shed, and
Correct.
our usual labor shed, I think in Central Illinois, is about 40 miles. That's gone up to close to 90 miles because of all the rapid growth that's here. But yeah, glad to continue to partner with you guys, continue to partner with Gibson City as a whole to try to figure out housing right now because, like I mentioned earlier, we've got all these college kids, but if it's not affordable to live here, we're not going to keep them. So we're
Right.
still working on the housing, still working on that quality of place, which has that ripple effect from base employers like yourself. And that's our goal, is just basically leave this place better than we found it.
I agree 100%. I was just thinking that the governor's trying to figure out how to get junior colleges now to produce a 4-year degree. And, I think back in the day when I went to junior college, and why did I do it? It was close to home. It was economically affordable.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, what am I going to do with just a high school bachelor or high school degree without getting a bachelor's degree? So it's like, okay, these junior colleges and these 4-year schools that you mentioned, we're surrounded by them. It's a great opportunity for these kids to develop their education and then move on to better careers.
No, I agree. And that's one of the things that we sell whenever we're competing with other states like Texas and anything that's in the Sun Belt. Like, we have the infrastructure, we also have the power grid, but the universities, like, if everyone's fighting for workforce, holy cow, we got a lot of talent down here. So it's been a wonderful area to do economic development. And again, proud that you guys are being successful. Wish you more success. And we'll throw the website out there one more time in case you have any job openings, but that's oneearthenergy.com.
Yep.
Anyone that's interested
Thank
in
you.
learning more. But with that, is there anything else you wanted to cover while I got you on here?
I think this went really smooth. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So